you very much, Presiding Officer. Members will know I often speak about my own experience and things in my family. My father, too, invented something for understanding what was going on in the womb. My father being a GP. He had an aluminium sort of ear trumpet thing that you could listen to what was going on. And his patients found this terribly cold and uncomfortable on their belly. So my father, with his whittling knife and a bit of wood, made a wooden version of it that was much more comfortable to his patients. That's his contribution to this particular problem. It hardly bears any comparison whatsoever to the deployment of electronics and ultrasound to understand what's going on in the womb. Now, my mother, who gave birth to me long before the health service, had an ectopic pregnancy before I was born, and therefore when I was born in one fallopian tube. So therefore the whole issue of the maternity services that my father gave was a very important part of what he found himself doing. But in a sense that's relatively unimportant. The more important thing is what this invention has contributed to safe pregnancy, the health of women and the health of their offspring. The sonar background that came from the war and radar indeed. My professor of natural philosophy when I was at university was R.V. Jones, who was the guy who was responsible for the UK's radar programme, springing from the same kind of stable. But now, with the ability to see what is going on in the womb, to see a lot of information about the newborn before they are born, there is, of course, the problem of ethical problems that come with it. And one of the great things about the medical profession is that we have seen the development of an ethical framework that makes sure we use this information in an appropriate way that helps the youngsters and helps the mothers. Now, it's often the case, of course, that it's the ultrasound that reveals how many are in the womb. It's often the case that these little black and white fuzzy photographs are the first indication that members of the family have that there will be another one joining their family. It's an absolutely fabulous thing. There is supposed to be an X-ray of me in my mother's womb, given her history. That's not surprising, but unfortunately I've never seen it, and it will long since have gone. It's a delight that we've got people who were responsible for this in the chamber with us today. Inventors, designers, and scientists are, given my own background, people with whom I feel a lot of sympathy. If only I'd invented something so useful myself. But in particular, in this case, we heard that the design of the machine was adapted to make it more friendly for the pregnant mother. It's important that because we're in some ways sometimes accused of over-medicalizing pregnancy. And if you've got something that actually looks like a piece of engineering kit, that's hardly going to help the peace of mind of the mother. So designing something that looks friendly, might be the right colors, is a good thing to be done. And of course, the technology of ultrasound is now used for many other conditions beyond pregnancy, including heart. As I gain in age, that might become important to me. Many of the organs of the body. So men, too, are benefiting from ultrasound. And it's just simply a bit of a sadness that Glasgow didn't manage to hang on to this one. But we had our own stake in inventing this and starting this. And I congratulate all those in the public gallery and who've been involved, and of course, my colleague in bringing this debate to the chamber tonight. Presiding Officer.